Today we're going to take a look at the art of historical inquiry. As we're looking at this, when we take a look at his or her story this year, historians must look at several pieces of information to determine what actually took place. This can sometimes be difficult for a historian to do. You may have a journal written by Christopher Columbus that says one thing, and then you find a journal written by a Native American that says something different. So you have to be able to look at all these pieces of information to find out what actually took place. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to look for information that may contain bias. So when you're taking a look at slavery in the United States, if you have a slave owner that's talking about it, they're going to be biased talking about why it's needed when they talk about slaves and if they should have rights. So you've got to be able to pull out those pieces of information. And on the reverse side, you're also looking at the slave's point of view. So as we're talking about point of view, you may take a look at it because the information may come from a particular point of view. When you're looking at slavery in America, when you're talking about the Civil War, whose point of view are you looking at? Are you looking at the Union? Are you looking at the Confederacy? Whose point of view are you actually taking a look at as you start piecing together what actually took place? And then as you're doing this, what you're doing is you have information that comes from multiple perspectives. One of the things that police do in their investigations, they're going to ask for witnesses. They go around, they interview witnesses, and everyone may look at it in a little bit different way. And so these are one of the pieces that make it difficult for historians to determine what actually took place. This is a skill that's going to be useful as you study American his or her story this year, so we're going to take a look at this and break it down a little bit. So let's take a look at an example. It is believed students should do 3 hours of homework every night to ensure students are understanding the concepts taught in class. So, first question, whose point of view is this? If you said teacher, you are correct. Teachers would think that students should be doing more and more homework so that they're completely prepared for class. Now, is there any bias in this statement? Yes. The bias is the amount of homework that should be done because it's coming from a teacher's point of view. So if we were to put this back on the students and ask you to write your own statement of homework, what would it be? Many students may come back and say, students shouldn't do any homework. We have other things that we have to do. We're in school for 6 hours already, 6, 7 hours a day. When we go home, we don't want to have to do more schoolwork. So as you can see, there are different points of view here. Students are going to have their bias, teachers are going to have their bias. You're looking at two different points of view. So as we're talking about this, we just want to break it down and make sure that you still understand the terms that we're talking about. First one we'll take a look at is point of view. This is a person's opinion about an issue or an event. When I see something, do I see something differently from somebody else? So that's what makes it point of view. The second concept we're taking a look at today is multiple perspectives. When you have more than one point of view about an issue, the background and the individual can impact their point of view. So when you're talking about slavery, slave owners are going to have a point of view, and so are slaves themselves. So how they see something or how they talk about something, they're coming from two different perspectives. And then the last one is bias, an unreasoned opinion or distortion of judgment about an event. So when you take a look at bias, people are going to, no matter what, they're going to be leaning one way or the other. So when I go and I look at this and I say that, for example, what is the best state to live in? Some people may say Maryland because that's where they're from. Someone might say Florida because that's where they're from. If I were to say this, I would say Minnesota because I grew up in Minnesota. And so I have that unreasoned opinion. I'm not looking at everything, I'm just narrowing my focus in on that one certain idea. So that's everything that we're taking a look at today. If you have any questions, make sure you contact Mr. Oler.